Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another amazing and important conversation with the Real People Foundation. My name is Dapa Ibim, and today I'm going to be your host. Now, this show is in commemoration of the World Menstrual Hygiene Day, a global movement that is set to throw more light on the stigmas and challenges around menstruation and to also provide access to menstrual hygiene products and offer education to everyone out there who's menstruating or about to start. Now, the topic for today is mind and menstruation, breaking the silence on mental health and misconceptions. Now, this is a conversation that goes beyond talking about the hygiene that surrounds your menstruation. We're going to take a deep dive into the mental and emotional well-being of everyone when they're going through their menstrual cycle. We're also going to be tackling the misconceptions and myths around menstruation. Today, I'm thrilled to be on set with an amazing gentleman, and who knows, maybe he might actually be one of those persons who think or reason this way. So now let's begin by hearing from our guest, Mr. Atta Amego, who is going to be giving us his opinion on whether women are being overly dramatic and emotional during their menstrual cycle. Please make welcome Mr. Atta.
Hi everyone, I'm delighted to be here. And as regards this discourse, I would like to give a yes and a no answer. Now, the yes is coming from the place of the days of ignorance when I knew so little on the subject. Not that I now know a lot anyway. That's because of how the society has wired the boy child, shielded him from certain conversations around the sexuality of women. Certain subjects are considered as almost always quickly dismissed as inappropriate. So, with such little knowledge, it became difficult for me at a stage in my life to fully empathize and appreciate the ordeal that came with the menstruation period of women. But as I grew with more exposure, and fortunately enough for me, I studied medical biological sciences, which also gave me some insights as to you know what women go through. So armed with that knowledge, my updated answer is now no. They are not being overly dramatic.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Atta, for such an insightful conversation. At least there's one thing we can pick up from that is that men don't really know much about this. Anyways, there's another misconception that people like to think that, oh, we're filthy, we're dirty during our period. There are even, I know some men that would be like, I can't go close to a woman when she's on her menstruation. She's always smelly. Meanwhile, that's not the case. But before you hear from the horse's mouth, let's hear what our guest speaker has to say on the situation.
My experience in that regard would be when you stay in an apartment where you share a restroom with siblings or relatives, it could come as a shock when you go to use the toilet and you're seeing the products that are used to manage the menstrual cycle or the menstruation period. And for a guy, it's so easy to feel irritated or even write off the person who did that as dismissing them as dirty, like our host is asking. But then when you also consider it from the angle of empathy, like I mentioned earlier, especially for someone who is experiencing cramp that feels like the end of their life, the last thing in the mind of such person is, did I keep this well? Did I flush properly? This is not to say that hygiene is discouraged, no. But this may say I don't summarize the sum total of their life based on 2 to 3 days where they are suffering immense pain and discomfort. So I like to still approach it from the point of empathy, that certain traits, I still don't consider them intentional.
Thank you very much. So there's also this idea that, people see, growing up as a girl child, they always like to make it look like you should be this, you should be that. They always try to, I don't want to use the word cage us, but they try to, make us into this prim and proper person that, like, they're presenting you like an egg to society. So when you're talking about like menstruation, people see it as something inappropriate because not because it doesn't happen, but because I think because of the fact that it's something you go through in private, so they don't see it as a discussion that you should, share with the public or talk about it. So I want to know, have you ever experienced such a thing where maybe you yourself, you even had to maybe shy away from a conversation because you felt like it was inappropriate or you're doing maybe society a disservice to engage in such a conversation? Like, I want to know your opinion on that. If you've had like a personal experience or you have anything to say about that.
Like every other subject on mental health, of course, this month of May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Uh, it's important to be able to speak out when something is taking a toll on one's mental health. And the issue of menstrual cycle experience is no exception. So, in as much as the society, there are cultural shocks as regards conversations like this, I strongly believe that it is not an exemption from subjects that women should be able to freely talk about in order to take a step towards healing their mental health, because the cramp that comes with these, the hormonal changes and all of those, they take a toll, and I feel speaking out is a viable option that should not be stigmatized. So it's also important for men who are not experiencing this to ask questions and get better understanding on the state of mind of women who undergo this experience. I feel that women should not be caged in how they should feel and also expressing how they feel. We should be readily available to give that listening ear, that shoulder of support in terms of hearing how they feel.
A very big thank you to Mr. Atta. He had, well, I would say pretty amazing things to say. But I'm sure this is a wake up call to everyone out there to educate ourselves more on the topic, menstrual hygiene, menstrual health. There's something called period poverty. Like a lot of persons, especially in localized areas where they don't have access to, pads and other things you can use to help yourselves when you're going through your menstrual cycle. So as a result of these things, they are not able to go about their day-to-day activities. In your own little way, you could just make sure that the women out there are very comfortable and you're also showing care and support whenever you can. A bit to throw more light on everything we've said today, I would like to share some wellness tips with you on how we can care and cater for ourselves during menstruation. Now, the first tip is to find something that comforts you. I've noticed, like me personally, now there are certain ways I could lay on my bed that would trigger the pain. There are certain ways I could stay as well that could help ease the pain. Also, if I find something relaxing to watch, it helps distract me and take my mind off everything that is going on. So, whatever that may be for you, just try to find a calm, serene environment that can help ease the body. Also, like taking some certain supplements, please make sure you take this under the advisement of your doctor. But I know there are certain supplements out there that could also help ease the pain, and regular checkup or visit to the hospital. Because, like I said earlier, there are certain persons who have gone on to discover underlying medical conditions because they consulted their doctors or nurses. So sometimes paying a visit to the hospital doesn't hurt anybody. Yes, we like to think it's not that serious, it's just cramps. Why am I going to the hospital? And because of the stigma around it, persons look at us like we're being dramatic. So you want to be that strong person, but it's okay to show, a little bit of worry every now and then. And I would also like to encourage us to be more welcoming and caring towards persons experiencing discomfort during their menstruation. Another thing I would like to point out is the fact that these mood swings are a result of hormonal changes. Now, when you're going through your period, it's very important to know that there are two significant hormones that drop, which is your estrogen and prostogen level. Now, your estrogen contains things that control your mood, your happiness, like your dopamine. The estrogen is what gives you like that whole dopamine feeling and serotonin. So when you're going through your period, these things drop significantly, which makes us to be moody. And also sometimes that's how your body can tell that, oh, it's that time of the month as well. Now, thank you very much for staying with us till this very end. So we come your way next time. It's bye for now. This is the Real People Foundation, and we're all about making lives better.